What's happening, everybody? Chupacabra Offroad. I'm back. Last time I did a pod was with this gentleman. If you're not familiar, introduce yourself.
My name is Anthony Chavira, aka Live in Chavira, Loca. Back with another one. Excited.
Yeah, man. We haven't done these pods in almost exactly a year. And last time, a year ago, was the same time of year. New model year releases. The Can-Am had just come out. We were all wound up about the car. Maybe we should touch on that real quick before we get going, because we had some ideas on the look of it. I'll just say my piece real quick. You know, we didn't know anything. We didn't get to drive the car. I was surprised at how the car looked. And now that it's been a year, seeing them out running the dunes, seeing them run around, I got to drive one. The car is pretty cool. I would definitely buy one. At first, when I saw that suspension, I would never have that thing in my garage. I moved on. I thought it was pretty impressive what the car did at King of the Hammers. Have you driven one? What are your thoughts now, a year later? Because we were a little harsh on the Can-Am.
You know, I still stick with my initial gut feeling from a year ago of like, man, those arms, I wish there was another way or something we could do with those arms. But I have driven one. I have driven, and I forget his name on Instagram. He's a dune lawyer, though. He's from here from Phoenix. But they're badass, dude. They handle, they feel so planted. The power's insane. I love the DCT. Coming from my GTR, like man, 15 years, it's very, very, very fun. There's a couple of them out there that are freaking badass. Price Designs has one that's super sweet. I like
What's up, Kate?
Yeah, what's up, homie? I like them. I think they're a badass unit. I just still, the looks in the front is like, I don't know.
The shifting thing I wasn't really sold on, but I know Evo has, first off, I think the amount of thing we didn't know, the horsepower, the efficiency is pretty high. I think it's like 17% power loss. So when I drove it, I was, especially me driving the Speed for a while, I was blown away.
And let me add, actually, this guy had their prototype, like
shift kit,
okay,
all
that stuff. So it was snappy. It felt awesome. The power was great. They sounded good. Like he was one of the first ones to go out. We were testing it for him. So
that's cool.
I should have added that.
I would love to drive the car. I mean, power-wise, it's fantastic, but I heard the power gains they're making, but some of the changes to the shift points, and I imagine I drove in some slower terrain, that's why I didn't like it as much, but I imagine when that thing gets out in the wheels and it gets to breathe, like...
It is. I mean, he was passing all of us, kind of messing with us, like left and right. I mean, he was being kind of aggressive, but, I mean, he was showing off what the car can do, and it's very capable. And yeah, you mentioned the King of the Hammers and stuff like that. I mean, watching that clip, I think that thing trended, like, everywhere. That guy flying down the mountain, it's unbelievable that it withstood all that abuse.
Yeah.
No, I was kudos to Can-Am for that. I mean, it's badass.
Yeah, and one final point, we're really not talking about Can-Am this pod, but I figured it'd be fun to bring up, like, the Can-Am release for their model year, maybe they strategically waited until after Polaris, which we really want to talk about. But everyone's expecting a Mavar 4-seater. I commented on my video, would it be cool if they put the Mavar with a CVT drivetrain as a different price point? Will they do that in a couple of years maybe? And the X3 is a great price point for the money. I think a lot of customers love that car and they'll probably keep selling it. Would they do that as they think about how that, if that chassis is going to be around? I'm sure, like Polaris said, designed to be around for 4 or 5 years. So, I mean, I'm hopeful that we'll see that as something interesting for the market. I'm assuming we'll just have a 4-seater. You think Can-Am has anything else up their sleeve?
I don't know. They've been so many years with this X3 design and frame. I feel like eventually they have to phase that out. I mean, I don't think it's going to be around forever. The Maverick R, we saw kind of glimpses of it, I think, in that launch video, right? The 4-seater in the background, and everybody was like, oh, when's that dropping? So I would imagine it's dropping here. You said, I think, the 18th?
Yeah, basically about a week after we're shooting this.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think they'll drop that. The X3, I think, will slowly get phased out. And yeah, I mean, that'd be interesting, too, to have a Maverick R, but a more base version, no screen, no shocks, but just that way everything can kind of flow off the assembly line maybe a little bit faster, like the same frame. But I don't know, who knows? It's interesting to see what these guys do. Being in the whole loop thing with Polaris too is badass, like being behind closed doors.
Yeah, so let's start talking about that.
Polaris,
but there's two little points. There's one point that you said the X3 has done really well at a certain price point. Now the market's really grown, right? We've got a Mav R and a Pro R, 40, 45 plus on the 4-seater. We've got all different price points, and you spent, first off, kudos, props to Anthony for becoming an official Polaris ambassador. Got to be super stoked.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been unreal. I mean, just how from one day to the next, they sent me a DM on Instagram, like, hey, Anthony, we have this, I don't even know how they mentioned it to me, but hey, what's your email? We have something that you might be interested in, or something along those lines. And I was like, damn, what the heck? Are they going to send me like some swag? Because they've sent me swag before. And I was like, okay, cool. They've shared a post or two here and there with me. So I'm like, all right, they're going to probably send me something else. And then the email talks about all this ambassador stuff and kind of details a little bit of what, that means and what they're going for. And it's been unbelievable ever since, man. Just going to do the launch was insane. Hanging out with Bryce Menzies, Stavel, Brock Hagar, freaking Tanner Faust. Like Tanner Faust, I don't know if the off-road community is, knowledgeable on him, but he's like a legend in the drift world. And that's where I come from too. I like the JDM, the car drifting, all that stuff, Ken Block. So this dude, I mean, I got to shoot a bunch of content with all those guys. It's been insane. It's been badass. So thank you for the kudos.
Yeah, man. We've been shooting some content together for a little while back in 2021 when we brought out our boy Nathan McBride, who's an incredibly talented shooter, videographer, artist, drone pilot. And, he had an idea. He was trying to get a GoPro $1 million shot while we're shooting a video. And he was saying at the beginning of that weekend when we were shooting with you and your brother, and you guys were like, oh my gosh, first time riding with this guy. These guys don't play around. They get after it. And, Nate's like, I want to get a shot of going under a car. And then next day you're eyeing up a jump and someone else is like, well, now's the time, do it.
And it made the GoPro cut. It's insane to see. I mean, you don't get the recognition, but it's just so badass that shot made it, dude. Like to be able, I mean, it was so badass to jump over him and like the timing and everything, how it has to work out, the editing. So I mean, Nathan, he's a beast, dude. That was awesome.
And even before that, I mean, I discovered Chavira, way before Polaris, before anybody.
Yep.
No, I think you were always like working with a lot of smaller companies, and I just liked what you were doing, putting out content, authentic, passionate about the lifestyle. That shoot with Nate was like, oh, you're really about the lifestyle. Like, you're really like out there to drive aggressive. And me coming from like the moto background, mountain bike background, like that's what it is, like I want that. That's, I enjoy the adrenaline side of it, the sport, and we get to play in the coolest part of the UTV space, the Glamis, Baja, high speed, the cool cars, the big bumps, and it's cool to see, you've been grinding for a while, man, so you deserve it. And putting out YouTube content, I think YouTube is a huge unlock for me when I look at somebody that I'd like to collaborate with, because, you can really make a connection, I feel like, versus just being like good on Instagram. Like you don't really get a person's vibe or feel.
Yeah, YouTube definitely, it's by far the hardest social media platform to grow. I mean, it takes a lot of effort. And basically, if you know what it takes to grow in this environment, the YouTube world. And yeah, I mean, I don't remember. I think my first car years ago is when I bought my first set of Chup mirrors. And then it's been Chup nonstop since then. And I'd love to see you grow too. And now we're in your badass new facility. So shout out to you too. But I mean, it's badass. I mean, you started with like a basic mirror too, and I mean, we can't turn it around. Behind the camera, there's all kinds of badass mirrors and colors, and it's badass. And I love growing like that with companies and stuff. So, hopefully we can continue to grow and do some bigger and better shit.
Yeah, no. So Polaris, I was talking about all the competitors, different model types. Every year, a new product release comes out. I feel like, man, they're just constant rumors. Polaris is going to put a turbo. They're going to do a DCT transmission because Maverick R, which was kind of the question. Like, well, first off, do customers have even told all of us that they want a DCT? Maybe. Will we have that same conversation in 3 or 4 or 5 years? I've always said personally on the channel, like, and after driving a Pro R, a CVT, I love how simplistic it is. I love low end torque. Like, in a variety of situations, it's like a 450 dirt bike. You just got it right when you need it, from like 2 mile an hour to 50. Right. And like my first time driving the Pro R at the dunes last year, I was like, dude,
this car like
stop 225. It was super legit.
Yeah, exactly. And like, that's the thing with the DCT. I think we had a discussion last one too, was just like you break something on the tranny, dude. I mean, how expensive that's gonna be, and then just labor tearing everything apart. I mean, maybe they're pretty stout and maybe they withstand abuse, but somebody's gonna break one, and that's gonna be pretty shitty feeling on the wallet. You know, versus a belt, yeah, belts suck when they snap. A lot of times they snap at the wrong place or whatever. But man, it is just a $300 belt, $200 belt, and you know you're back on the road. You carry it everywhere in your car, one or two spares, and I mean they do pretty good. Dude. Like you can thrash one of those cars and they last, you know. So, and then we get into at what price point, you know. So Polaris does drop a Pro Turbo R DCT. Man, what is that? 80 grand? I mean, you know, or what are they? And then at that point, do they price themselves out of that market? Like now, I think I might just go buy a Tatum or a Sandcar for 80 to 100 G's, you know, versus, and I'll just keep whatever side by side I have at that point, and like I have the best of everything. You know?
And I bring this up a lot when I comment on like Facebook posts. How about factory Polaris racing? I want to say the last several Baja races, all the last 4 or 5, 500s, 1000, straight up beating all Class 10 cars.
Yeah.
Which is an unlimited off-road desert car, dual shocks, limited with a 4-cylinder motor. We're talking $150,000, $200,000 Lumacrafts. And the rubber band is laying the wood. I mean, it's 4-wheel drive, but like incredibly impressive. We're talking about what the capability of a Pro R is. Yes, the factory racing Pro R. You rode in one, is on another level, and it's probably well over 100, 150. Yes. But I mean, it's still CVT driven car, and it's still getting to the finish line in the most respectable race environment in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Those cars are incredibly dialed in. Like I've never ridden in anything like that. I've never ridden in a trophy truck or anything, so obviously those are on another level, right? But those factory Pro R cars are insane. And we rode in the Gen 1 cars. Mm-hmm. The Gen 2 is like the ones that they just released a new Pro R front fascia. So those are the Gen 2s, and those, I guess.
So the whole new chassis redone for the new?
So I don't know if the chassis was done. They didn't give us a lot of details on the Gen 2, but you could tell right off the bat, like the dash is different, shifting stuff. Like there's just differences. And I guess that Gen 2 car is still like another level on versus like the Gen 1 car that we rode in. And it's insane. I mean, I went to the Baja 500 in Sonoma a couple months ago, and seeing those dudes fly by, and then there's like, it's like trophy truck, class 1, spec, and then boom, here comes Caden in a Pro
UTV
in the middle of like spec trucks. It's insane. Like, how does that? And then, I mean, I don't know.
Aren't they beating half of the spec trucks?
Yeah, they are. It's crazy. Like, but driving in that car and after seeing what at least the Gen 1 car is, I mean, I can see that because how badass they are.
I mean, I'm assuming, you know, Baja's tighter and twistier than I ever thought it would be before I started going down there. And the 4-wheel drive just eats, I'm sure, when you're exploding through tight washes. And they must be eating spec trucks do that stuff. But obviously when it gets going fast, like in a Class 10 probably has a little more top end. I'm assuming the factory car is doing 105, 100?
Yeah, so actually when we did our little shoot there with the Polaris Ambassador launch, when we rode in those Gen 1 cars, we were hitting 105-ish. I mean, it's just unreal to have a car be that fast and then they stop on a dime, so whatever breaks. I know
they have the Gucci all-come.
They have some badass shit. Because I was even like, and I'm very wild in my driving, you know, you said earlier. And like, we're getting to some of these shit, and then like, the thing stops on a dime, left turn, freaking boom on it. It's incredible what those cars do. So,
were those cars live valve suspension?
Yeah, they are. Oh, so we have Fox on site. Fox spoke to us, and so they have all their own.
The driver, I'm assuming, has got the live valve on his steering wheel, and he's probably
messing with shit like that. On the Gen 1 cars, you still have the ride command dash or like a little GPS screen and stuff. But Gen 2 cars, they took them out and they run like a motor kind of thing. It's different. So like completely changed everything, but they just are another level. So speaking of, we'll talk about it in a minute if I end up getting a Polaris this season. But I know you've been talking about getting a 2-seater, right? We both have kids. We need a 4-seater, but like you do all this stuff. Like I'm at a place now where I would like to push myself. So going to the rocks, I'd kind of like to have a beater 4-seater and just not care if I tip it over, like trying to climb up 8 trails. But in the desert or whatever, like a 2-seat car would be so fun. I feel like, you know, the live valve is cool. I feel like it's more important for a 4-seater. You know how Fox makes the non-live valve shock package for the Pro R? Like RC2.
Yes. I feel like maybe buying a base model 2-seat Pro R and putting those on. Because I talk about all the time, the speed is so plush on the small bump and like it moves around a little bit more. I feel like maybe that would be like my dream 2-seat setup. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, but I just love the whole ride command thing. You know, GPS, the group to group thing. You can link up and see everybody else. We've done a couple rides with Fred Razor, and most of us have Dynamics cars, and it's just badass. Fred's up here. You can kind of afford to step back, get a little bit of a better view, not be all dusty. And we just cruise because I know Fred is a mile up ahead or whatever. So I mean, I really like all those features. They're maybe simple, and then to me, the Dynamics for what I do, it handles everything well. To put that thing in comfort, you can go over some like choppy, nasty stuff, and then you're gonna be hitting some nasty G outs, jumping, whatever at Glamis. I mean, you put that thing in Baja, hit the old shit button, and you're good. I definitely do want to transition into a 2-seater, but at this point with my kids, so that's kind of why I'm waiting. I did put on order a 4-seater, so my turbo arm I'm actually keeping it. I'm gonna give that to my oldest. So that's kind of my thought process was similar to yours. It's like, that's going to be my beater. Like if I go jump the canal, it's going to be that. If I ever make it to Utah, which I definitely freaking need to go up there with you guys, that's probably what I take and go crash on it. It's not going to be that serious. The Pro R 4-seater is going to be built, show car, pretty, just chill, nice, simple, And then eventually, I think there's more shit coming from Polaris, and I'll get a 2-seater without saying too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Live Valley, I really think it is the best way to skin the cat. Like, I loved how plush the Speed was. The problem with the Speed is the car being so heavy when you go out to the dunes. Even when I was cranking down the compression and the crossover rings, it was still bottoming out all over the place. And the right way to do it would probably be like stiffer spring rates, but like, this is a UTV, man. I'm not trying to even dinking with the suspension back and forth between, because one weekend we're in Utah, the next weekend we're in Glamis. It is so much energy. Now you're talking, you've got 2 cars to get out there and the whole family, and aren't you rolling tandem now with your truck and your toy hauler and your car? Like, it's training plans on all of those just to get out to wherever we want to go.
Yeah, logistically, it gets tough. Like my dad was even saying we should build a badass, because my dad builds off-road cars and stuff. He's like, we should build a badass long travel Jeep. VA, whatever, twin turbo, this and that. And I'm like, Dad, how are we going to get these toys out there? Like, we already kind of tapped out. Like, what are we going to get a semi with and have to go and park at Pack 3 with all the ballers like Nick and all those other guys out there? Like, it just becomes too much. So you kind of have to find that middle point, and that's why I like these cars with the Dynamics. They can kind of do everything.
Yeah.
And pretty simple.
Unbeatable for going from one environment to the next. And then I know Ned was saying at MTS, they've been showing some snippets on their Instagram how they're working on some additional improvements. I want to say with the front shocks, with the live valve internals.
With the internals. So I actually got the scoop on that too a little while back, and without saying too much, they're doing some badass shit, and they broke it down for me there, and it makes sense exactly what they're doing. So I'm excited to see that, the way those cars handle. You showed me some videos of them. They're in the early stages of testing it, but yeah, it's gonna be pretty badass, and it's gonna make a big difference in just the overall. So.
Always searching for the holy grail. And it feels like at this point, I mean, you guys have probably seen all the refinements of the new Polaris. Don't need to hash it out. Obviously, you've got some nicer creature comforts. All the bells and whistles that Anthony just described. I mean, you've got all these adjustments on your steering wheel like a nice production car or truck.
Yeah, exactly.
You got the GPS now. You got heated and cooled seats, which I think is super cool.
Oh my God.
The doors look cool. Money you don't have to spend. We were just talking off camera. Money, you don't spend that kind of deal. I'm sure that the new seats are pretty comfortable.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, all the stuff that you touched on and stuff that you think that these companies don't listen to, but they're watching one way or another, taking into consideration all of our opinions and whatnot. But definitely that cabin feature is freaking great, dude. I mean, we were shooting in Utah, different places, and it was kind of toasty. It was like in May.
Mm-hmm.
So at some points it was still a little bit chilly, snow and stuff, but we were in the desert, and at the sand dunes it was pretty warm. And you open up those vents and you instantly feel like a nice airflow. The seats too, when we were working, sweating and stuff like that, it's a nice feature. Just hit the GPS thing, boom, cool, and it's a loud fan, and you instantly feel that breeze coming through. So massive improvements to me, just comfort. Doing Baja trips with that, and it's crazy because in Baja too, it can be pretty warm leaving La Rumorosa, and then we get down to the coast and it's chilly. Or a speed breaks down on the run, and we have to wait for the speed time and time again. So then now we're delayed in our ride. Wait, it's not funny. So then we get to the coast, it's chilly, now you have your heated seat. And you close the vent on the cabin, now you're a lot warmer, So it's badass. I really like all the shit that Polaris is doing.
I keep saying, I just want to be right. Historically, Polaris, Can-Am, Polaris will probably be first. Will launch a fully AC Pro R. Like everyone's talking about, I feel like the industry is talking about expeditions. The new Ranger looks cool. Dude, going back to what I said, like I still try to keep it real, ride downhill mountain bikes, ride moto. I need long travel, horsepower. I'm not a grandpa yet. I'm 44 years old. No disrespect. I'm not saying the Expedition is a grandpa car. I'm saying I want full enclosure would be sweet, but the panels have to pop off, so I can have my open air experience in the Pro R. I want the performance. Do you agree? Is that coming in the next couple of years? I mean, you think is that the only thing left at this point?
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like they can still sell, like, so what if they were to release to the public a production Pro R, like the race team, and now you can hit the ground running? That's, I think, something that's badass.
For sure.
The Expedition, it's expensive, dude, 45 G's, I think, for the top of the line fully enclosed Expedition. So what is that going to do for the price point for the Pro R? Getting all the goodies of the Pro R, but now a full, fully enclosed cabin and everything, I feel like that's going to be expensive.
Yeah. Would you? I mean, there's that company Hess. I think I've seen them on Facebook. They do the enclosures for Can-Ams. It looks like plexiglass. Like, is it achievable to like make a whole setup even aftermarket, a cage, plexiglass, and some type of AC unit for 10K? And do I think a Pro R guy would spend 10K on an upgrade? Hands down, they would.
They got money. There's some people out there with too much money.
Yeah, maybe it's a niche. But yeah, off the showroom lot. I mean, but another thing too, when you say an Expedition, 45K, the ones that look really cool have long travel wheels and tire shocks.
Jeffrey's built some badass shit. Those are like 80 to 100 G's. Like the portals, long travel shocks, like you said, HCR kit, 5, 7, 8 G's, the shocks, all this stuff, 35s, and then they throw a turbo kit because now they're 200 power with 35s, so like you gotta have power to move it, and you're still like, I feel very teeter-tottery in those, so it's just, when does it end, dude? I don't know.
Then if you were the first guy to have that in Baja, all your friends would make fun of you because they didn't have it. At least now with all the new Polaris upgrades, like you can have it and they can't make fun of you. They're like, oh, does the seat cooler work?
We do dream about doing a freaking Baja trip and being clean. Like, can you imagine taking off from Morosa and heading down to the San Quintin, and you get there and like, oh, how you get, you're freaking disgusting. You probably have like 3 pounds of dirt caked on you. But imagine we show up, just like, hey, what's up, mate? All nice and clean.
That happened to me. We did a run in like 2017. It was like the last day, and we ended up in like Laguna Hansen coming back up. So we stopped for a sandwich. And then at that time, like trail emissions happened to be coming through. Their helicopter lands, someone gasses it up, and they all running out of Raptors. So they all get out, and all their wives are all clean. We look like we were bums, dude, like eating a tuna salad sandwich, but like we're keeping it real.
We're real.
But they were, the wives had like, they were all dressed nice and everyone was like
clean, sure. It would be cool, dude. Even if you get some shit talk to you, like, man, shut up, I'm clean. Like, go take a shower. But I don't know, dude. At what price point? It's just like anything. We're gonna start getting up there closer to 100K, and I don't know.
So you got to be behind the scenes of shooting the new cars, driving them. You went to Utah. Was it the first time off-roading in Utah? And where'd you guys go? Looked like Sand Mountain?
Yeah, so we went to Sand Mountain. We went to Knowles, I think.
Okay.
Or Knoll or something like that. And then, man, we went somewhere kind of northeast of Salt Lake into the mountains. And there was like some snow caps. A lot of the snow was melting. That's where we shot tons of like the rock edition and stuff. That's where I came out a lot and actually those, like, my pictures are everywhere, which is freaking awesome to see, dude. And it's cool being behind the scenes, like, the guys ask me, because these photographers, they don't have like the background, they don't know what's going to look right. They have the background on the pictures and stuff and how to make those look badass, but they struggled so much on what to get like shots of. And at the dunes too, I would tell them like, hey, I can pull up over there. All they wanted was fresh, clean sand. Can you guys do this over there? Like, can you guys do that? And I'd be like, honestly, bro, that's not going to look good. Let me go up there, I'll do it like this, and just be ready. I'm going to focus, or I'm going to drive into this frame right here. They're like, okay, cool. And that's, I think, how we linked up so well. And then the same thing transitioned over to the rock areas and stuff. They're like, hey, Anthony, what do you think of this? It kind of started asking me a little bit of my opinion. And a lot of those shots ended up drifting through like the trees at certain points, hitting these puddles, and there's like mud everywhere. I was covered in mud and water, but I was like, dude, this is crazy.
Was your wife with you on that one, that shoot too?
Yeah, so
after you guys get done, are you guys like, oh my gosh, guys. Utah's like
No,
unbelievable.
It's crazy though how much work and like time, effort goes into these shoes because I wouldn't see her for hours and hours, and we wouldn't have our cell phones on us. So like we take off in the morning, and like she'd go with I mean badass Bryce Menzies, Stavo, Tanner Fowles, Brock. She'd be with all the celebs, and then they'd kick us. Hey, you poor people go away. But it was cool.
You were inflating tires, changing air filters, right?
Yeah, you would think I was driving, but I was cooking. I was making this all the time. And shit. No, but what was I saying?
Being in Utah.
Yeah, driving, how much effort goes behind those things, and just being you mentioned my wife. We wouldn't see each other for probably 6 hours. Like we maybe catch each other for a few minutes during lunch because we all have lunch at different times too. Like just depending on when these shoots, and then these media companies just come back and grab me. Hey, I need you to hop in car 12. Go to car 2. Go over there. And you're freaking working, dude. So, but it was an experience of a lifetime to me for sure. Dude, all expenses paid. They flew us out, food, hotels, like Starbucks runs. That's why it was
Starbucks. But I mean, I'm assuming you're capturing all the assets for the product model you launched, the website, future social posts, dealer. I mean, Polaris on such a big scale, right? Dealer POP. So when the new cars come, they got the POP, and that's you and Coin Power Sports or your wife ripping around the town with. How was that? You and her. I mean, riding with that caliber of drivers.
I mean, it's crazy, dude. It puts into.
We all want to be like those people.
Yeah, I agree. I that's an end goal for me to be in a car like with Brock or drive a factory Polaris car myself. Hey, Polaris, come on, let's launch. They launched the Teal one. Why not just make that a Pro R car and then just boom for me? It's a win-win.
You know what I think they need? They need like real everyday people, grassroots, and then just give us the keys to a factory car and see what we can do.
Yeah, I agree, dude.
There used to be this show I used to love, Pros vs. Joes.
Well, speaking of that, it's funny that you mentioned
back in my days, football. Pros vs. Joes off-road. Exactly. Polaris, free idea. I'm not going to charge you anything for it. Hire Anthony and then let me go ride.
Yep, I agree, dude. It's funny you say that, Pros versus Joes, because I consider myself, I could throw a football over that mountain. And then you hop in the car with freaking Brock as a beast, with Bryce, Davo. It's like, dude, these guys are freaking nuts, dude. But they literally, that's their profession, is to go out there and they know like the very freaking limit of what these cars can do. And it's badass. It was really, really, really shocking to see how badass of drivers these guys are. So,
all right, sorry for the jump cut. We had some technical difficulties, just like my Speed UTV.
Yeah, speaking of the Speed, and you asked me my choice of car, how would you feel?
Before it cut, he was going to say a Speed Bandit 2-seater.
No, he wasn't going to say that, and I was not going to say that either. What's your take on all that stuff, man? Would you redo it? I mean, lessons learned?
Would I have bought the Speed and all that? Yeah. I'm stoked I bought the car. The curiosity killed me. There's so much about the car I really resonated with it.
They're badass.
What I think the big problem is where they're at as a company right now. It's like owning a custom sand car or a pre-order. Does the warranty cover the Speed key? For the record, people do have the Speed key. I've seen them on a photo, not in real life, and I could sign up and get mine. But I'm nervous to drive it. Is the drivetrain going to be covered? I just saw they posted the MSRP, the motor's $15,000. If
more
I would have
2.0 from Polaris. Polaris, I think, is a $10,000 for the 2.0.
So I want to reach out and see if I can get some exact communication. I mean, to be fair, like I did have some failures. They got me a new transmission in 2 days. I haven't paid for anything, but my car has been back to Havasu several times, and it's going to go back again. And the beauty of UTV is that you can, I experienced all my previous Polaris in the can. You can drive it hard and put it away wet.
Yep.
I'm into biking. I'm into moto. I got to prep all those bikes for my kids and myself. Like, I just don't want to work on stuff. I want to go have fun, and that's the charm of a UTV. And I think that's what makes the reliable Polaris Can-Am cars so good. Is that you can, but every time we go on big trips like last year in Baja, like we drove the cars hard and they can take it. We have very minimal issues for the pacing ran for all these people. And how many trips have you been on?
Yeah,
like that.
And it's funny too because people always say they kind of defend the Speed, which I understand. The Speed is a badass car, it's a good ass idea. I think that they just need to work out. It's funny. Someone on social media was like, "Oh, they need to fix the bugs that it has," and I think board member was like, "Bugs, this thing's infested." whatever the case may be. It was a good idea. It's a badass car. It handles well, but I just think it needs another couple of years of R&D. But that's the beauty with the Polaris Can-Am. You just go to the showroom floor dealership, pick one out, and you're ready to rip. And they are pretty reliable. And people will defend the Speed and be like, oh, how many issues, how many things a Can-Am or Fire, Polaris, or blah, blah. They defend the Speed, but also Polaris and Can-Am are putting out thousands of units. And sure, there's going to be failures here and there. People are idiots. People drive them retarded, people drive them silly and stuff like that. I mean, there's 500, maybe 1,000 unit speeds out there. And there's so many little issues. I mean,
Yeah, and I think a lot of us expected some issues, but like, for instance, I've owned my car for over a year, being one of the first, but go to Utah, I need the brake pads. I mean, there's not a dealer in Utah that has any parts. A customer we were trying to help, we installed some of our products, he wanted some springs, even aftermarket springs, there was none in Utah. Like the big part of what makes the side-by-side great is like, I think, man, in Phoenix here, could have a belt or an oil change kit, and I could take it to without having to make a 3-hour one-way trip to Havasu. And that's a big plus coming. Luckily out of Glamis, the Glamis guy did have axles. I think I bought a couple from him.
Yeah.
The axles are $500 a piece. Insane. I mean, it's so.
I think the Polaris like $200.
Pro R, I don't know, but yeah, because you don't have to worry about it. But I want to see like they used to be like $150 in the pre-COVID like turbo days.
Yeah, so I think they're like 200, 300. So.
And I have to say, man, like I used to like, my car's got Heims and you guys have ball joints. Like the Heims and the Speed, unfortunately, went bad. The outer arms go bad after like 500 or 600 miles.
And that's going to be for the life of the car.
Unless you buy fancy, upgraded, custom machine racecraft. And honestly, like as cool as Heims are for all you hardcore off-road guys, like there is more maintenance and wear involved than just a ball joint.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to put how many thousand miles have you put on a stock ball joint over the years?
Like 3,000. Oh, over my lifetime. Oh yeah.
Turbo S's. Did you replace one ball joint?
I never replaced a ball joint.
And you've seen the video of how you got down on the Turbo S.
Yeah, I used to thrash on that thing, and people used to swear like my suspension was built on that red car, and I literally had a spring kit from MCS. I didn't even do the internals on that thing, and I was sending it. I mean, I don't know how far. That's easily 100 feet. I don't know how high in the air, and coming down, ball joints were intact. Dude. Like I had 0 failures. It's crazy. I mean, I did upgrade now to I did 56 front suspension on the Turbo R because I did have a ball joint failure, but it wasn't even an OEM ball joint. I replaced them, did aftermarket shit, and thinking, preventative maintenance. And coming on that same trip where you had an axle pop out, on a random ass turn, my tire just falls over. Like what the heck? And then I guess it's kind of a known thing with this brand or whatever. That sometimes they just the clip falls or something, whatever. A kind of a failure in the design of this ball joint. But my OEM ones were good. And then my dad's car, he had like 3,000 miles of Turbo R as well, and we never replaced his, and his are solid. He drives pretty hard, So
I was behind him.
Yeah, I think ball joints. I mean, yeah, and it's funny, being with all this involved in all this Polaris thing. When we did that review or whatever with all the ambassador team, they had one of their head engineers. Isn't the guy that speaks on all the videos the guy that you know? I forget. I want to say Steve or something, but whatever. This gentleman came over and he started talking to me about my car. I was the only one around the cars at that time. Everybody else was inside. And he said, "Hey, walk me through some of your aftermarket things." And we discussed the cage for looks and maybe a little bit better safety, well, blah blah, spare tire, exhaust tubes, etc. And then we walk around to the front of the car, and he's like, "Dude, these are beautiful." He says, "But we design our cars to kind of be like like a hierarchy of like failures, right? So like the ball joint fails, and then this will fail, and then that will fail. Me right now, I built these badass chrome only 4130 arms. Now those arms will never quite break, but now my frame's gonna break. The tabs are gonna rip off. The diff can break. Something else is gonna give,
Yeah.
So Polaris does this so that you can replace a $200 ball joint, no problem, and be back riding. Me, if I do something, crazy, my arms are gonna be good, but now what's next? So there is a method to their madness. I know people say the ball joints suck, but get yourself. I think CMI is pretty good. Like they have some bad shit. I know Jagged X has a nice video talking about every ball joint, aftermarket ball joint, and I think Polaris actually did address the ball joint.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, you come up
they made them a slightly thicker or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, I would run.
Speaking of Polaris parts, there's a rumor, I don't know if it's true, Polaris factory racing, kind of like Yamaha does with GYTR, makes upgrades and accessories.
Yeah.
It would be cool if the Polaris race program, if the rumor is true, that they work on some accessories that are higher quality, race grade, that the average guy can put on his stock car. So I don't know whether it's ball joints, radius rods, other things, because like people like me that want to be racers, like I think that's cool. I think it's all on it.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think that there's definitely a market for that for like more than like your average, weekend rider or whatever. It would be pretty sweet to be able to, okay, this is straight from Polaris. It doesn't void any warranties. It's bigger, beefier, better. It's tried and true with the Polaris factory team, which I think that's what they do try to do. So this, I think, was invented or started up because they wanted a way to like really put all these new components and stuff through its paces before reaching like the aftermarket. So they created that version 1 that we all rode in, and that car's phenomenal. And then those parts get released, or I think it is coming. Exactly what you're touching on is like I think there's going to be, aftermarket Polaris arms or aftermarket race ball joints or race clutch from Polaris. I mean, it'd be sweet. I think a lot of people have more. It's comfortable. It's easier for us to go and spend money. Oh, it's from Polaris. Like it's really good because they have the money to like R&D the crap out of that versus like I'm going to take a risk on whatever brand clutch.
Yeah. Because they're doing the testing and like you said, what they've got to come up with.
And what they've proven. They've proven in Baja with these cars. Like I think we touched on it. Like it's insane to be keeping up, to be passing spec trucks. Trophy truck, spec trucks. Like that's insane.
Well over $250,000 trucks.
Oh yeah. I mean, what do you think of factory Pro R costs? I would say it's probably about $200K, dude.
Yeah, I mean the ones that are handcrafted for the team. Like looking at stuff I've seen on social, it's like all the Chase team's welders all match, and it just seems like it's an old.
There's carbon fiber everywhere.
Like the factory old school trophy truck racing years when you had Yoda and everybody in it. So I don't even know. Who knows? But economies of scale. Another rumor, maybe they were going to make it a vehicle you could buy a race Pro R and sell that to the customer for whatever that might be, $80K. That probably wouldn't be near as cool as what they're doing because they're always testing to get one-off stuff. But the same thing happens in all things like mountain bike guys are making companies prototype bikes that the public might not ever see, but they're changing and tweaking. And I think that's part of the marketing to help sell the car. You hope all that intel is of course get put into your average everyday car that you want to buy, and that counts for a lot because I think with the Speed there could have been more testing. I'm sure that was part of it. They wanted to get to market. They got behind COVID, whatever happened. But, testing is ongoing, never ending. I know Speed's still testing. They're probably still. But it seems like now, to kind of go back to the Speed thing, a lot of us customers are trying to figure out problems on our own. Now with the newer tunes, it's like the car's running hotter. It's not running as good as it used to run. People are having built issues. I went to Baja for a quick trip with Fred, our buddy Fred. I lost a belt, and then I got the car in the lip mode just cruising down the beach. And it didn't have that issue when we were in Baja last summer when we were.
Yeah.
So I felt like there was progress last year, and now it's like, what's going on? And I don't know what the right solution is other than I don't want to spend another $10K on it if I go with the push ECU and all that stuff, which is probably going to be a great opportunity for that car to run well. But then does that void the warranty?
Versus you could just, you cut your ties, your losses, whatever. It's a badass car. Maybe in a couple of years they'll do whatever, some version 2 or address all these little issues, and then you get back in another Speed. But you just hop in a Pro R, you're ready to go, dude. Throw a cage, you make some. I mean, you already have all the accessories for it, and you're ready to rip, dude. No issues.
We'll see.
I think Nick belongs in a Speed, not a Speed. You belong in a Pro.
Yeah, I mean. After having the one that we built and driving it back to back in the dunes, the car is so impressive.
Yeah, Wes's car is nice.
So impressive. So, yeah, that's kind of long and short of it with Speed. I hope to see some more updates. I think a lot of people, we haven't heard much, and hopefully the car is progressing. I'm not sure. I'm going to put mine up for sale and just get a Pro R, but desert season's approaching. Sand shows around the corner.
I know, a month away, dude. This is like crunch time. I've never built a car for the Sand Show, actually. I mean, I've had nice cars. I put good stuff on them, but now my car's gonna actually be in there. It's kind of
What booth is there currently?
so Dirt Direct. They're from here, from Phoenix.
Okay.
Moses from Brick City Fab. Him and I teamed up, and I guess he's good buddies with them. So I'm gonna be more than likely in their booth.
Nice.
So that'll be sweet. And then just getting the exposure from that, I think the car, I already have everything picked out, the wrap, the cage from Brick City, paddles, which is kind of funny, you know, sand tires.
I saw your new shirt.
I know, it's crazy, man.
Shout out to
Thank you
Cody.
guys.
STE. Awesome panels.
Yeah, I'm stoked to try them too. I mean, I'm really a fan of like the 33 Gloster, just how they look on sand cars. I mean, my dad building sand cars, that's what he would always run. And this is kind of a collab effort with me and my dad, this Pro R. So he's like, you know, we go like put me up with those if we can. So yeah, big shout out to SCU, man. I'm stoked for this car. K with the wheels. Gotta get some Chupacabra mirrors. Whatever.
Will the car have teal on it? Are you tied to teal like people on social?
Dude, that teal, it sucks, man. I feel like they legit stole it from me and they made their own car.
And then, because you stole it from me.
Your teal's different.
I had the teal logo drawn up in 2014. Just
Okay.
saying.
Do you want to see my teal Infiniti G37 from like 2012?
You want to see my Converse sneakers out there that were turquoise?
No way, I don't believe it. Prove it. Prove it.
Oh, you know, like mine, the thing of like, you know.
Yeah,
But,
I agree. Nah, dude, I feel like everybody's gonna have teal out there now. You know, so I don't know. That's it's a tough one, dude. It looks badass.
this is the hard part about being innovative, being authentic. People just copy you. You see all the Chupacabra mirror knockoffs?
I know it's
We
crazy.
got brand this, brand that. You guys know who you are. I'm not going to call you out right now, but this is what happens when you try to do something a little bit unique. What I get is everyone just copying.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. What is it like? There's some kind of quote that it says like imitation something.
The highest form of flattery.
Yeah, there you go. It's imitation or something. Like,
It's hard to be original, even with building a car, right? Like,
It is.
what do you do? Like, unless you do something crazy custom. Like, I had this idea. I wanted to build a Terrible Herbst Land Shark Truggy replica UTV. Would be bananas because that car, to me, may be the most winning, amazing Baja car of all time. And instead of, you know, the shark on the front would have a Chupacabra would be a teal, but it looked like this, you know.
The money for that would be nice.
But you know, yeah, you custom them.
Yeah.
Like you drive it, it's like if I had that kind of money to have a showpiece and like.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the guy that owns Rugged, he builds a lot of really cool cars. I'd love to be on his level one day where we can just build cool theme cars
Yeah,
and
actually.
just have them exist.
Yeah, that'd be badass. I mean, but yeah.
But going back to like building a car, like you build a new car for the season, like how do you differentiate and
I just got to do a lot of research. I mean, look at colors, and then me being big into the car scene and stuff, I see a lot of beautiful cars that get built and stuff, and I like colors, and I kind of think, you know, even with the teal thing, when I did it over a decade ago on one of my show cars, I remember the wife was like, "Hey, you're gonna that color? Like, come on, like no way." And I'm like, "It's gonna look fucking good, dude." And we did it, and that car broke necks, man, like people, and it just. Ever since then, and then I got the red car, and like I kind of steered away from it, and then I was like, dude, I gotta get back to that too. I really like.
you can't do red. There's too many red razors.
Yeah, you know, so Fred Razor, red.
All you gotta do is link up your boy at Brick City, full cabin closure.
Ah,
You
yeah.
go out to Camp Razors, 95 degrees, and you pull off your hoodie.
Oh,
That's the flex.
that would be.
You pull up wearing a hoodie to the swing set.
I don't know. I gotta stay true to my Russo, dude. You know, like I like getting the sand in my face,
Oh,
like, the air, whatever, hot ass air. I mean, I don't know. I just even now, like sometimes, like my dad and a lot of my group, they like windshields, but I don't like windshields anymore, dude. I kind of went away from that, and I just like the open feel, you know. So
Look at a speed like me, you don't have the option. You can't run and shit.
yeah, well, you're gonna be in the back. Or, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm stoked to see how your car turns out, man. Thanks for coming by and chatting. I think we talked about Polaris Life, talked a little bit about what things coming in the industry. I mean, one thing to kind of put a bow back on this being a Polaris influencer, you think about doing a ride, want to participate in it, you want to talk to people about it.
Oh, that's
What
right.
would you like to do? Because, you know, we talk all the time, like, we need to get together and ride.
Yeah. I agree, and thank you for reminding me. September 6th, here in a couple of weeks on a Friday night, we're going to do a big night ride in Yuma, Arizona. We have Dan Kibler, another fellow ambassador, coming down. Polaris is going to be giving us a whole bunch of swag to give away. We're going to do raffles, I believe, like ice chest, like 60-quart ice chest, but I think that's pretty.
You raffle off a Pro R2 though, right?
I don't know if I'm there yet. If like we could get Bryce Menzies to come down, maybe he can raffle off a Razor or 2 or 10. But yeah, there's gonna be giveaways. Nick's gonna hop in. Nick's gonna bring the speed down, so you guys can all check it out. That's freaking sick. I think everybody really likes seeing that car. It is a badass. It's a beautiful car, especially now that the wrap is done and stuff like that. It's kind of unfortunate, whatever little issues you've had and stuff, but it's still exciting to see nonetheless. So, and it'd be cool to take you down, rip around through the desert down there. So
It'll be a night ride.
it's gonna be a night.
Because it's September in Yuma.
Yeah, it's gonna be 120 degrees during the day, so it'll be a cool 100 degrees at night. But yeah, it should be fun. So hopefully a lot of you guys can come out and make it. I still got to work on the flyer and touch up some little details, so I haven't released this. Is the first I speak of it, to the public. So,
Exclusive.
yeah, you guys heard it here first, dude. Like MTV News, like. So yeah, see you guys out there, and thanks Nick for having me. It's been fun. Shout out to the new shop. This is badass, dude. Congrats. And
Thank you.
you've come a long way. Where were we both at?
Yeah.
I think so. So it's pretty badass. I'm
Awesome.
for the future.
Yeah, me too. Excited to be collaborating with you. It's always been fun, and that's the joy of working in the industry, being involved in the industry. It's just like-minded people, and this is such a social sport. Like going on trips just makes it so much more fun on who you go with.
Oh yeah, dude. It's badass.
Changes everything.
Oh yeah.
You can't go on a big ride by yourself anyway. It's not even like I won't even go to Venice by myself.
Yeah, it's cool meeting all the people that we meet. I mean, crossing paths with you and then Fred, and then that leads to this. Now we ride often with DRT, so shout out to you guys. I mean, the DRT puts out some badass stuff. I've linked up with Evil, which that's crazy. They're right behind you. That's freaking cool. Jeffries, just all this industry, man, how everything works. Actually, speaking of that, it's kind of funny. These are 100% American made, and I thought of Nick for these because I see Nick wear these glasses. These are called Fast Metal. They're based out of
Paid advertisement. He's got to pay some bills here real quick.
So check these out. These fit Nick very well because I think I see you in those type of glasses pretty often.
Yeah, I have some prescription glasses. These are comfortable. Not bad.
See what I'm saying?
With glasses, my nose is really crooked on my face.
I think
So I just gotta have a high rib so my glasses are.
So what do you think? Do you think they pass the swag check, dude?
Yeah.
I think
I just I should have.
You should have
I actually got a nice haircut today, as I knew he was coming.
I know, but you think you forgot to dye your hair, dude? I thought we were on the same page.
Bro, you're taking it back to Eminem days, huh? Taking it back to high school. These are cool.
Yeah.
So this is your buddy, or what is it? New business?
Yeah. So this company, I forget what the original sunglasses that they started. They're called the Gators.
Huh?
Remember, I don't know, a few years ago.
With a Z? Gators with a Z?
Yeah, and they used to bulletproof glasses and stuff. So this dude built that company, sold it, and then they had one of those where they have to wait a couple of years or whatever. So now he's starting another one, and doing kind of something different. And one of my good buddies that I went to high school with works for them, and he's like, hey, dude, come check these out. And they have tons of options. They're all polarized and stuff like that. So I've been using them a lot on the lake actually.
Nice.
And then these he uses on my buddy. I was like, dude, it's funny because Nick, I was like, he uses these a lot. So I was like, I'm gonna go sponsor him in Paris. So.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, your buddy. Discount code will be below, 90% off.
90%.
Loca and the discount.
Dude, 90% here.
Support a small business, right?
Yeah, I agree, man. That's how Nick got here. I mean, even me too. I don't have a business. I don't sell products, but liking, sharing, subscribing, whatever interactions you guys do on social media, those things mean a lot to me. So
Yeah.
that's how we all get here.
Same too. Like we don't do discounts very often, but we will do one coming up for the Sand Show. We always do it for them, and basically Black Friday we try to provide value with the quality of our products and the content and all that. And I'm a big believer in content. People who make content. So
Yeah.
Alrighty, until the next one, we'll see you guys. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe below if you haven't already, and we'll chat soon.